Hello and welcome to my last reflection. It's the reflection for the week of April 27th. Today is March 1st, and it's about 11:25 p.m. right now. It's honestly been a bit of a crazy ride. Being in this pandemic has made me change my outlooks on a lot of different things, and taking part in staying at home is something that's changed the way of life around here a lot for most of us students, especially this week. Um, I know I mentioned it on last week's reflection, but we've had a big reliance on cooking at home yet again. This time we have ingredients, we have everything, so it's pretty easy to cook anything we want now. Right now, the finals are coming up. It's very difficult to really talk with professors how we did before, like talk with them how we did face to face. I found myself struggling a little bit in that aspect, just because for certain projects I needed a clarity of a professor's voice or their input, or even that the whole experience of a classroom, a normal classroom setting, where my professor would be there and I would be able to ask him questions. It's been something that I think with finals being during the pandemic, um, it's something pretty difficult to cope with, and to adapt to, just because we want to turn in everything well enough um, for our professors to understand. And with that said, this week on Monday, I was able to go to your Zoom meeting, Dr. King, which honestly, it was way different. Um, like experiencing the material, like just by the simple things you said about it, was way different than me reading the material and interpreting it in my own way. To be able to talk to somebody that really knows, and is able to teach all the material in class like that again after not being able to do that for such a long time, it was a pretty big shock for me. Just because it brought me back to the sense of, oh wow, yeah, our professors really know what they're talking about, and it's such a huge difference to be teaching online than to be teaching in person how we used to before. With that said, uh, another thing that I wanted to talk about this week, which is why I'm wearing this t-cap right now, and as you can see the flag back there, is Greek life, in the same way that the differences of not being able to communicate in person have affected us. I want to apply those to the Greek life too, because right now we are in the process of electing new execs for the next semester, and to get everything, and we're trying to get everything ready so we can hit the ground running with philanthropy events and have everything planned out, know our budgets, and pretty much keep the momentum that I thought our fraternity gained through the rest of the next fall semester. But not being able to hold elections or not being able to gather like we used to makes it very difficult to actually achieve that. For example, we can't have 40 guys in one Zoom call trying to vote and give speeches, um, as to why we should pick this person over the other for certain roles. That's something that I think a lot of organizations are getting used to right now, not just Greek organizations. I'm sure everybody with work has to accommodate to those circumstances to some extent. But being in the pandemic has really brought us to try to get a different sense of communication with each other. And the only thing we can do is talk with each other online like this. Other than that, this pandemic has been um, something I didn't think I would go through in my lifetime. Um, it was even funny to read part of uh, the CSIS Commission on Smart Power, and how they encourage that we should have alliances with other countries so we can be better prepared for pandemics like this one. And they did this way before. It was really funny to see that, because clearly that didn't really happen, or it didn't happen as well as it should have, because we're in this position that we're at right now. But the bright news came this week with Baylor announcing that we'll be able to come back in the fall And so that brings me a lot of joy, as it does to many of the rest of my peers, since we know that everything's going to be back to normal. Thank you for keeping up with me for this past couple of weeks. It's been odd to try to do these video reflections every day, or every week, excuse me, but it was fun to document this process. So this has been my experience throughout 6 weeks of the quarantine, and thank you very much.